Not my son. He ain't done nothing. You got it wrong. Not my son. He ain't ever done nothing. I want you to listen to the clip. Here coming through is the officer. Listen closely as to what happened. Then listen to the age of the suspect and what they're saying about the suspect. But remember, my son ain't never done nothing. Fair use.
Flat out, this 16-year-old boy is a known dangerous person in the community who's been arrested time and time again for having illegal guns. At this point, he is still hospitalized. That police officer is out of the hospital this morning, recovering at home after police say that the boy's gun went off and it shot both of them. New video of that 4-year veteran officer released from the hospital overnight to applause from fellow officers and doctors. The cop is assigned to the 4A precinct and suffered a gunshot wound to the leg. You see them being wheeled out of the hospital there overnight. He actually got up and walked to the vehicle himself. So this morning, he's recovering at his house just hours after this life or death struggle. He was one of 6 police officers on patrol in the neighborhood near Lorillard Place and 3rd Avenue last night. They stopped to question a group of young men allegedly up to no good. As cops approached, a 16-year-old put his hands in his pockets and refused to show them. That's when police say a tense struggle ensued and a single round was fired from the suspect's gun. It first struck the teen's groin, then traveled into the cop's leg.
At no time did any officer fire their weapons. The perpetrator is a 16-year-old criminal group member, and our officer who was injured is a 4-year veteran.
He was arrested at 14 years old for being in possession of a gun. At 16, he's arrested again, and this time he discharged the gun. What is it going to take?
Police recovered this 9mm Sig Sauer gun they say belonged to the boy. It came back stolen from South Carolina, and the suspect is a known gang member, according to detectives, who was just put on probation last month for possession of a gun. They say his crew is in a gang war with another here in the Bronx. They are responsible for several murders of young people dating back to this past summer. Police tell us that this is the second officer who was hit by gunfire in the city in the last 18 days. We're live in the Bronx. I'm Anthony DiLorenzo, Pixel.
Did any officer fire their weapons? The perpetrator is a 16-year-old criminal group member, and our officer who was injured is a 4-year veteran.
He was arrested at 14 years old for being in possession of a gun. At 16, he's arrested again, and this time he discharged the gun.
So he happened to do that to the cop. What the heck you think he'll do to anyone else down the street if he wants your purse or your bag? The seed of poverty D. Everybody got mad at Denzel when he said it starts in the home. Again, I have to ask, what woman would have a child by a man drenched in poverty? Poverty D. He can't provide for you, let alone some little juniorette boo. Seriously, he cannot provide for you or the child. I made a mistake. Baby, how many mistakes do we need? The seed of poverty D. Honestly and truly, all they asked the little sucker to do was show your hands. Show your hands. I ain't gonna show them. These have the morons seen Oz? And here's the sad thing about it. I remember hearing something about recruitment, and they had these older fools, the older degenerate dusties, the older degenerates, advising the young ones on what to do and threatening them and recruiting. I don't know if it's true, saying, oh, they'll threaten the family, threaten to do this and that if you don't join. That's why you don't want the seed of poverty D. Sure, things can happen anytime and anywhere. But I rather take my chances in the burbs. Where it's too many seeds of poverty D, that's where it's hell you do not want to be. 14 years old. Then something happened. Well, I did the best I could. Did you really? What kind of man did you pick? Self-accountability goes both ways. If we can stop one young woman from carrying the seed of poverty D and putting her life on a trajectory of poverty, well done. Mission accomplished. Can barely read. You saw that thing, if you saw the video yesterday, of that thing in, was it Orlando, I think? Where he killed he was convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend and their child, her unborn child, because the girl was pregnant. Then he killed the cop. You see, he wrote his own statement, and he could barely read it. Fool, you wrote it. You wrote the statement, and you can barely read it. You just 2 steps on, that's all, folks. You just 2 steps from that. You wrote it, homeboy. "14 years old. What kind of mother do you think he has? A Dustina? A dusted up Dustina. Every day it looks like the group is just too far gone. Collectively, too far gone. Young women, if you are listening, you better get a clue, honey, and quick. 2022, it has to be about you. Look at the investments that MasterCard and Goldman Sachs that they're making. They're not saying, oh, well, come on up here, and if you was a baby mama and we got a check for you. No, it's geared towards self-improvement. Life is business. It's geared toward business entrepreneurs, 501(c)(3)s, creating jobs, not creating poverty. You can't get into that realm if you sitting up here carrying a seed of poverty with 3 or 4 darn kids and you stuck. And what the hell can he do for you? Not a darn thing. Did it work for your mother? For Mammy? It didn't work for her. It's not going to work for you, boo. You should want better for yourselves. And I'm not trying to be mean. Maybe sometimes a little inflection might get your attention and you might figure out, man, this is some dumbass shit that is going on in the BC. Do not hitch your wagon, child. Don't hitch your wagon to some kind of bankrupt institution. And the BC is bankrupt financially, and for a lot of our people, they're bankrupt morally. Don't hitch your wagon to the seat of poverty D. That's going to be a hell of a bumpy, sad ride. Hitch your wagon. If you can't find a man that can improve your life, a man of means, hitch your wagon to that stock market. Hitch your wagon to investment. Hitch your wagon to business ownership. It's only going to get worse. 14 years old and 16 years old couldn't follow a simple command. So imagine that trash in the school. And you wonder why the teachers don't want to come back. They don't want to deal with the seed in Chicago. Teachers union, let's be real. You don't want to deal with the seed, aside from the pandemic. You don't want to deal with the seed of poverty D. Child, I can't blame you. When you have the seed of poverty D, when you're carrying that seed and having to raise this child, you're on your own, you're going to be in poverty, and you are more likely to be in neighborhoods where a bunch of these rambunctious little dangerous, I don't care if it's chocolate drop, vanilla drop, white drop, Asian drop, I don't care. That's what you're going to be around. And you have a greater chance of something happening to you and your child, the seed of poverty D. And then it's crowded, a whole lot of people stacked up on top. Ooh, not a good recipe. I did a video on Patreon. I'm going to wait a minute. I might show part of it here. And I know it's Kurt. But it's true. It's true. It doesn't give me pleasure to say what I said, but it's darn true. That's reality. Oh, that's mean. Can't believe it's true. Sometimes we have to deal with what is. That's like somebody trying to sell you a car. Oh yeah, come get this beautiful car and it's shined up and fined up. Don't have an engine. What the hell you want it for? You're not going anywhere today, tomorrow either. So we need to avoid the seed of poverty, D. And it's true. It starts in the home. So I'm going to go ahead and end with this little skit of the mammies. Quite often, when little Cleatus done something, the mammies want to come to the front, and you know how that goes.
My son ain't never done nothing. He ain't never done nothing. He was born and bred and EBT fed. You already know ain't no sense in his head. My son ain't never done nothing. Now, it would be a crime to try to make him spend some time. If he did that crime, he wasn't thinking. He wasn't in his right mind. I love my son. That's all I got. Well, except my daughters. But my son, that's my heart. He ain't never done nothing.
And that's how they are. My son ain't never done nothing. And it's true. He's never done nothing productive. I'm out.